Yo, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of Levitation, the Sunday series. And last week, I talked about what can cause our lives to be physically and spiritually cluttered. Take a minute, go check that episode out and come back. This episode is talking about the process of cleaning. See, it's one thing to recognize that you've been neglecting maintenance, but depending on how long you've been allowing things to accumulate in your life, the starting process can be a little bit overwhelming. And this is the process. First process is you gotta start. You have to begin. A lot of the times, the thing that prolongs the cleaning process is the fact that we haven't started yet. We may be preoccupied on where to start. Some of us are so preoccupied with the finished product of cleaning, like we're so far in the future that we're prolonging the starting process. And the starting process is very simple. Take some time, look at your life and see what's causing the clutter. Take a pause and look at who or what you've been running to as your source for help. Is it another person? Is it money? Or is it God? Take the time to analyze who have you been entertaining and do they provide positive value in your life? Stop and take a moment to analyze how many times have you prayed? How many times have you read? Not just reading, but actually sought after understanding. See, we have a sense of knowing what belongs and what doesn't. We kind of know where our priorities need to be, but sometimes it can get a little tricky. This is where we have to ask God, help us to see what belongs and what doesn't. And when He shows you, this leads to the second part of the process. We have to be willing to let it go. We have to be willing to let go some hobbies, some people, some desires. A lot of the times, these things just take up space. In the process of cleaning my room, I ran out of hangers to hang up my t-shirts, so I decided to fold them and put them in a jar. When I went to the drawer, I see a whole bunch of t-shirts that I haven't seen for years, just in the jar, just taking up space. It was family reunion t-shirts from college. I had shirts that had a specific moment connected to them. Most of the shirts, I wouldn't even walk out the house with them on, but I'm keeping them. For what? It's literally just taking up space, not allowing me to have a space for the t-shirts that I would actually wear. That's how some of our lives look. We're holding on to things that's occupying space that we need for other things. God wants to bless us with new things, but we have things that we're holding on to that's already preoccupying the space. And we praying and asking God, please give me more space, but He already provided you with enough space. The wrong things are preoccupying the space. I mean, we holding on to people, we holding on to jobs, holding on to habits and hobbies, and we holding on to things that we used to do, to desires that developed when we was young. Some of us are holding on to resentment and unforgiveness that we have towards certain people, when a lot of the times, most of those things you've outgrown. When God wants to bless you with more, you don't have the space for it. We have to learn to let some things go. The last part of the process is we have to create new habits. The new habit that I'm forming in the practical sense of cleaning is cleaning as I go. Make it an everyday thing. What I used to do is put something here. That's just one shirt at the edge of the bed. I'll get to it later. Then next thing you know, I have 5 shirts at the edge of the bed and 2 pairs of shorts and a pair of jeans and a pair of slacks. But cleaning as you go, you notice something out of place, you handle it immediately. Taking the time to clean on a regular basis, that can be applied to our spiritual lives too. We have to go through a cleaning process on a daily basis. As long as we live in this world, we're going to be distracted. Things that's going to busy us, things that may keep us stagnant and cause us to be a little lazy. But we have to regularly make time to clean up. What does that look like in the spiritual sense? You got to make time to fellowship with God. You have to make time to pray. You have to make time to read and study. We have to make time to think about certain outcomes of certain actions and choices that we make. All that's doing is making sure that our life don't get cluttered again. The benefit of forming new habits can be related in Romans 12:2, where it says, don't copy the behaviors and the customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. You develop a new way of doing things, the correct way of doing things. Now, this is a gradual process. Why? Sometimes because of job and obligations and responsibilities, we don't have the time to put towards cleaning. But you gotta make some time. And that time may not be as much as somebody who has a little bit more free time. But as long as you're putting effort in, you're gradually cleaning. Sometimes we're attached to certain behaviors and actions that we're not ready to let go just yet. So realistically speaking, we can't expect a 180 change overnight. But we have to work with God gradually every day in cleaning for as long as we live. That way we'll gradually see progress and we can maintain the organization that we develop for ourselves. So let's pause if we have to. Remove some of the distractions. Become a little less busy with our own agendas and become more busy with God's purpose. Let's get out of our complacent mindsets. Do the work and be willing to depart from some things. And gradually, you'll see your spiritual life become free from clutter. Let's start that process. This is Levitation, where we're reaching the highest potential. Stay blessed.